Welcome once again, Africa. My name is Kelvin Mutize from Zimbabwe, Yali Creators, and today I am with the man himself,
What's up, man?
Mr. Plot Mhako.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about Plot, who Plot is, before we get into this exciting Beyond the Coffee series.
Well, basically, Plot Mhako is a creative social entrepreneur.
Creative social entrepreneur. Hey, today's gonna be something else, man.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in Zimbabwe. I grew up between the city and the village.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I think half of my time, my childhood, I was in the village, half I was like in the city, which was quite interesting because it taught me a lot of things. So I'm professionally trained as a journalist. I studied media.
Oh, you studied media?
Yes, I studied media. And then I worked in the financial sector for 5 years.
We didn't know that. Today we're learning a lot of things about Plot Mhako.
And then 2009, that's when I decided to have a go at my passion, which is promoting arts, promoting dance. And I started Jibliga Dance Trust 2007 rather. And since then I've never looked back. This is our 9th year. And a lot of things have come in between. I've managed to do the stuff that I love, and live off it.
So we know Plot Mhako, or some of the people, or Africa knows Plot Mhako as this guy who just travels all over the world, shows media, promotes dance and stuff like that. We didn't know that you were trained as a journalist.
Yes, I'm trained as a journalist. I did my diploma in mass communication at the Christian College of Southern Africa, which trained, I think, the bulk of journalists from Zimbabwe. But because of the media space, I wasn't really keen to get into full-time media.
Okay.
And then I decided to look for an alternative job that was paid. And
then you went into the financial sector.
Into the financial sector. I worked for the central bank, and afterwards I decided to.
Okay, wait. When you were working for the central bank, what were you doing there?
I worked for the central bank subsidiary, which was responsible for printing and refining. Yes.
Okay. So here we have a media profession who did 5 years of full-time 8 to 5, suit and tie.
8 to 5, yeah.
Suit and tie, working for the government, working for the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, and then a couple of 5 years later he starts the biggest dance festival in Zimbabwe, and it's been running for the last 9 years. Yeah. And I know on the 25th of August, right?
26th, 27th
of August, you're running the final is in Mutare.
Yes.
Wow, that's a big portfolio. But I think one of the things that we also found out last week when we were talking with Caesar. She didn't go to film school, but she's one of the biggest, maybe one of the most women leading media in Zimbabwe in terms of filmmaking. And here you are, we've got media professional journalism, 5 years financial sector, and now you've moved into the place where you're following your passion. Because I think that's where the crux of the story of today is about, is that you have followed your passion instead of your calling or your professional endeavor. So my question to you, the big question that I have today is, what made you leave the financial and leave the media to actually to run a dance trust?
Well, I think I've always had a passion for arts. I mean, back in the days when I was still in high school, I remember Form 1, Form 2, I used to be part of, this boy band. It was me and 3 friends, and I was attempting my hands on the keyboard and also trying to just be a musician. And that didn't really work out well. There was not so much support. And at the same time, I think I wasn't really, musically talented. So, and then in 1999, I got one of the, groundbreaking opportunities. The Arena International Festival of the Arts was born. Becoming the biggest annual arts festival, not only in Zimbabwe but in Southern Africa.
That's
one
true.
of the
highlights.
Highlights. And I got a chance to work there as a volunteer. I worked there for 6 days, and I think those 6 days were transformative. For me, they exposed me to a lot of ideas. They exposed me to a lot of opportunities in terms of the artistic, environment, and that kept resonating in my mind for a couple of years. And then I got into media with so much passion towards arts and politics, you know.
Oh yeah,
So,
we know all about arts and politics.
yeah, so I was always caught in between, just trying to really choose, am I going to get into arts reporting or am I going to get into political reporting? And then I was working at the same time when I was studying. And when I finished my diploma, I really didn't do any journalism work. So my first journalism project was in 2011 when I became a managing editor for Roots, the Zimbabwean edition. It's like Africa's biggest arts and culture magazine published from Cape Town, South Africa.
Wow.
And I got an opportunity to be, the inaugural editor and publisher of the magazine.
Nice.
Yeah, which went so well. And since then, I was still doing my dance initiatives. I just kept on doing what I was doing, and today dance became the biggest art form that I've been promoting. Yeah.
Dance and Zim dancehall.
Yes,
mixed together.
I think I've had a chance to use almost every of the skill that I managed to get along the way. There is from the financial side, from the time that I was working formally, there are a lot of things that you learn when you're working formally.
In a formal job, that's true.
There are a lot of things, and those things you will not learn them anywhere else.
That's stuff like discipline, like following order, procedures, time.
Just being, just that integrity.
That etiquette that you don't get in, from home.
Exactly, you don't get it from anywhere else.
Yeah.
You get it from an environment where you have to be submissive, where you have to report to somebody, where you have to work under certain conditions.
Time, schedules, projects.
So,
and I think that's the thing that a lot of creatives struggle with, especially in Africa. I've got an idea, I've got a passion, I want to follow it, and the next thing, you just dump your job and you go and you serve. But I realized that a lot of people who have become established in Africa, even in the arts, even in whatever sphere, they took some time to actually formally work for someone, make sure that you clock 8 to 5. At times you're receiving a paycheck or you're doing it for free or whatever the case is. But I think that there's a lot of people that, we look at Caesar, 10 years understudying, obviously she got paid, but at the same time she wasn't full-time working, but she was working for someone. And I think that a lot of people, we have these ideas, but we do not take time to actually study. We don't take time to actually work under someone. We just want to, I've got an idea, I'm a graphic designer, the next thing you're doing it on your own, and you don't have that level of discipline, excellence that is actually drilled in you. I think that's an amazing part, just learning that discipline is very important in building your capacity and ability as a creative, because one of the things that I really want to talk about is growing excellence of your art, following your passion and following your creating excellence in your passion, because I think that's something that's lacking from amongst us. Typical example, we heard the story of the Linton Lies, the lady who talked about the story, the book, she's pushing her book and she wrote a very interesting story about Africa, which, but it's very interesting. But at the end of the day, we realize that it's upon us as creatives to tell the story, regardless of what creative ability you have. But then, how do we grow our excellence in that place? I want you to use reference to Jibilek as well. How did you grow your excellence as a crew and as an entity, from just an idea to now being a trust, which is maybe the biggest dance trust in Zimbabwe?
I think the biggest leverage for me after finding Jibileka was that I managed to fuse in a lot of those things that I learned in the formal market. And I think these are things, not to really say artists don't have that, but I would say most artists that I encountered are very good at what they do. Just being an artist, being performers, being visual artists and so forth. But when it comes to the management side, when it comes to concept development, proper business management, they lack that. Either because they've not been trained that, or because they simply focused on what they know best, which is
a very interesting point.
Being on stage, doing their art, they're graphic designers, being on the computers and designing. But now to really bring in the business component to foot, which I had as a strength, and it has helped me sort of strategically position Jibileka not just as a creative social enterprise, but balancing the business aspect of it, the social aspect of it, and also the artistic,
the passion.
The passion, yeah. So, and maintaining that balance has created, a viable, sustainable business model, which I would say is kind of unique, because basically what we do is we get into communities, we do stuff with young people in schools and communities that helps them in terms of their development, be it we're talking to them about HIV, be it that we're just training them dance, we're training them music or anything, right? And in turn we create, a huge following, we create like numbers.
Yeah,
and
those are important.
Those are important, and any corporate, anyone needs numbers.
Everyone, we all need numbers.
So we start monetizing those numbers to say, look, we have this community that we can reach out to, we have a vehicle in the form of the artistic discipline that we're pushing. We have that vehicle.
Now it's a system now, it's no longer just people, it's now like an organized system that's already working.
System, yes. So we say, look, we have the means that you would need to get to a certain market. So if you're targeting young people, if you're selling a mobile application or a mobile device or anything with a baking facility, and you want to reach to young people in ABC demographics, we have what it takes. We have access to it. We have access to these communities because we're already working with them. So that worked as strong leverage. And when we didn't have money to pay people that are training those communities, says, okay, look, we're attracting this corporate interest. We're attracting these NGOs that are getting interested in the work that we're doing. And you as artists, you want that access. So for you to get that access, we'll prioritize you when you in turn go into these communities and do stuff for free. So you're training these kids, you're training these communities, giving them a skill, a life skill, and in turn, whenever we secure a contract, whenever we secure an opportunity, you're the first
people to be a part of it.
To be part of it. Yeah. So when they started seeing examples of people that had made it from our model to say, oh, this dance group, or this beatboxer, this performer, this singer, they've made it from this very same platform. So they're more keen to be part of it. And at the same time, so we're driving a positive social agenda, having a strong business component, preserving, and pushing a strong cultural and artistic, content, in our programming.
And I like what you just talked about, because I think the whole thing that we're talking about this afternoon, yes, is how do we build the excellence in our passion? Because I think you touched the very same essence of it, because that you have this product, you have this passion, you're a designer, you're a writer, you're a mobile app developer. But what you do not have is the other components, the discipline. You don't have the business acumen. You don't have the time to actually sit and study the things that are around you. What are some? Because I know that for a specific season of Jibilika, you were basically the one who would take the pictures, write up the stories, post the pictures and stuff, until the point where now we have a team. Yes. And I think that's one of the things that, as we are building our excellence as our art, as we're building our passion, as we're building these enterprises from becoming concepts to becoming projects, the most important thing is to build teams.
True.
Yes, you are not good at being the administrator, running the finance, but look for someone who can do it. You are a creative, but you just don't know management. True. I know a lot of musicians who are just fantastic musicians, but the way that their manager runs the brand, it really shows excellence, and then you can really tell that this artist has a manager, this artist does it on his own. As creatives, we are well known for being late for meetings, never finishing projects. We are known for not being able to implement things that we say. We like sitting in meetings, talking big bucks, and then when it comes to implementing projects, we are the worst when it comes to that. It's because we want to be the person sitting on the money, you want to be the management, you want to be the creative, and you suck at all those things. Yeah, sure. So I think in terms of building our brand, in terms of building our concept, building our ideas from being ideas to becoming initiatives like yours, building on discipline, building on teamwork. Yes. And I think one of the things that you're talking about is also allowing people to fly in their abilities. Exactly. And I think you spoke about, to tell us some of the groups that have grown out of Jibilika.
We've had quite a number of dance groups. Currently, we have a group called Flip Floppers. Okay. Group one, at Jibilika 3 times in a row, from 2009 to 2011. And what that managed to do for them was give them a lot of exposure. And today, they are signed by one of the leading advertising agencies in Zambia, where they are doing promotions for a lot of big companies such as Shoprite, such as
nice.
And we have a dancer who's currently studying in Switzerland.
Oh, nice.
On a 3-year scholarship. and he's one, as a solo performer, in 2014, and went on to get a scholarship with our assistance. And we have, the world traveled, and the most popular beatboxer in the country. Nobody knew beatboxing in Zimbabwe until Jibilika started pushing the movement. And currently, he's in LA, where he's performing in Hollywood, and he has been to 3 continents at age 21, which is amazing.
Wow. Probably he's 21.
He's 21, yes. And he's a boy from Pakistan, yeah. And so for his peers that have managed to see his growth and working with the Jibilika, they're able to really relate and see that if they're talented and if they work with us, they stand also a good chance of making it. Not that they're not good artists in the first place, no, but they need that sort of polish, and we have quite a number of dance groups. Rolex, which has struggled and toured and done amazing stuff. They won Jibilika before, twice, and the numerous examples. Place Tornadoes, which won the National Arts Merit Award, and they've continued to excel, in their own endeavors. So there's been a lot of numerous, examples, and I think one of the most critical things that has helped me along the way is just being able to get into the mud, get into the dirt. Because I think a lot of us who want to just perfect our art and our work at that level where things are now proper.
Where things are proper. But I think in Africa that doesn't fly.
That doesn't fly. You have to be able to just start from the bottom.
Start from the bottom.
Yeah.
Learn the tricks.
Learn the tricks. Like I pay my bills from graphic design, and I'm not a trained graphic designer.
Oh, we didn't know that.
I'm not a trained graphic designer.
Okay.
But over the years, I've managed to design a lot of projects. I designed for some of the big corporations. I've done more than 40, books that I've designed, magazines, books, and so forth for a lot of organizations. And how did I learn that? Just playing around with the software, knowing, just being enthusiastic, being keen to learn, watching a lot, observing a lot, looking at different other creatives, what they've done,
and what they are doing.
And recently, I'm like, I want to learn how to create videos. I want to learn how to create, short videos that can make an impact.
Yeah, we've been seeing the work that you've been pushing on Facebook. Yeah. If you don't know, just go and say Jibilika on Facebook, or just go and say Plot Mhako on Facebook, and you see like a plethora. I like the word plethora. Like an abundance of videos that this guy does. But they are amazing. But I like what you said, is that it's not just about knowing craft. It's also about studying things around your craft. It's about studying how to build teams. It's about studying how to learn discipline. It's about also having people who are able to support you in the things that you're doing. Because I think so many times we get into this stereotype that we see 50 Cent or we see Wizkid and he's got this fly video and we want his life and we think it's just gonna fall on our lap.
Yeah, true,
It's sometimes it's sad to see someone sitting on a computer and all they're watching is a series or a movie, and that's all they spend their day with. And they're saying, I need money in my pocket, but you're watching series the whole day.
Because like for me personally, I think my life has been a testimony of what it means to just be able to watch and learn. I'm not a dancer personally, I've never danced, but just watching.
It's like dancing, I know.
But just watching, films like Igor said, I remember it gives me the first kick to say, why not start something like this?
Wow.
Why not, create something that is closer to home, And I think over the years, I'm happy that I've managed to meet even certain people that I've seen on TV, stuff that I've seen on television, stuff that I've read, creative stuff, and that has continued to inspire my life. So every day I feed my life from creative content. I watch a lot of it.
That's good.
I drink creative content. And I think remaining on your toes, because the trends are changing
fast.
They're changing so fast. There's now the digital age, social media and so forth. And how do you keep yourself, up on your toes and make sure that you are in sync with the global trends, and at the same time maintaining your narrative?
And appealing still to the people that you need to appeal to.
Because I think for any creative, what sells is that, local content. It's the ability to tell, an authentic story that is not fictitious, but a story, even if you're doing fiction, but somehow you find it as its roots from something that is
that's solid, that's local.
Solid,
Yeah.
Local.
So just to close off this Beyond Coffee series with Plot Mhako, I think we were talking about how to grow excellence in following your passion and following your craft and growing your craft. So I think some of the things that I got, I hope you got some more. One of the things that I got was, in the pursuit of growing our excellence, let's study.
Yeah.
Let's keep the trends.
Never stop learning.
Never stop learning. Create a team, or have a team around you who are strong in the areas that you're weak in. And I think one of the other things that you also spoke about was there are some opportunities that come along your way. Take them. Like I think you said that the turning point for you and Jibilika was when you went to the States and you got back and you changed the whole system of how it's run. So I think opportunities are also very key. What are some of the things that you think we need to also focus as creatives to grow to come to a place of our work becoming excellent?
I think we have to be open-minded, because somehow, a lot of times creatives, we stick, when we create our own cocoon and we're not, I'm not taking anything new, I'm not whatever. But I think that sort of interaction opens up your mindset, and learning from others, just being able to learn and being open about your ideas. Because at times we're like, oh, ideas will be stolen and so forth. But I think
dream stealers.
Yeah, it happens. But I think the best way to patent your ideas is just to be,
just do it, right?
To be good at it. Even if somebody tries to copy, they're not going to do it exactly the same way they've done.
They're never going to do the same way they do it.
The same way. Yeah, so it will not create any value for them.
Wow, that's another creative excuse right there. Just because someone stole your idea, you should be able to do it again and again and again and again. Because I think for me, when someone steals the idea, they don't have the passion to sustain it. Because when you, like for me, if you say, if today I steal Jibilika and if I get to a point where I hit the wall, I will not recover. I'll just leave it. But you'll still always be there because it's your passion, because it's your following. So I think this is it from us. My name is Kelvin Mutize, Yali Creatives, and I am today with Plot Mhako.
Yes, my brother.
Thank you very much for coming around.